In order to promote the national culture, I wore the late opera maestro's line on the graduation party. No sooner had I made my debut than my boyfriend, Qing Mei, cheered me down and chased me off the stage. They laughed at my old-fashioned style, smashed my heirloom crown and danced in my ceremonial robe. But they didn't know that this line of work was worth a lot of money. I never thought I'd be booed off stage the first time I sang The Drunken Concubine. The girl in the lead wore a tight halter and shouted, "Old-fashioned tunes. What right does old-fashioned stuff have to participate in the graduation ceremony? Get off the stage and make room for us hip-hop crew." According to tradition, once an opera singer opens his or her voice, he or she must never stop in the middle. I've been studying with the late Jiao master for more than 10 years, so naturally I'm not willing to break the rules. What's more, what I'm wearing today is the most inherited and valuable line left behind by my teacher. But just as I was calming down and preparing to continue, the girl even led her team to jump directly onto the stage. Seeing their out-of-the-ordinary behavior, the students on the stage cheered loudly. "It's Joanna's hip-hop crew. She's won awards abroad. Is this something we can watch without buying tickets? Why doesn't that singer get off? This is the flavor of freedom, right? It's worthy of a street dance girl." Listening to the crowd talking, I probably guessed the identity of the girl, Joanna. Just after enrollment, went abroad as an exchange student. She had won street dance awards abroad, and although she wasn't on campus, she was a popular figure that everyone talked about. Joanna led a group of people who nonchalantly blocked in front of me in a single file line. In my shocked gaze, the music and lights then changed to passionate foreign pop music. I was furious. Because the person controlling the music and lights backstage was my boyfriend Patrick. I took a few steps backstage amidst the boos, and pressed the button to stop the music. "Patrick, once the play starts, even if you encounter great things, you can't stop." Before Patrick could say anything, members of the hip-hop crew followed him backstage. Joanna, who was in the lead, raised her hand and slapped me. "You're taking up our time, and you dare to come backstage to cause trouble." I was about to fight back, but was directly held down by Patrick. "She is Joanna, heiress of the Johnson family. If you touch her, you can't afford to pay for it with 10 lives. Then Patrick crossed over me, and pulled up Joanna's right hand which had just hit me to have a closer look. "Is your hand okay? You've been abroad for so many years. How come you're still so impulsive?" Joanna smiled. "I'm fine, brother Patrick. This is your girlfriend who is so aggressive, right?" Even if I was stupid, I understood their relationship at this moment. For a moment, the emotions of shock and humiliation surged violently to my heart. I forcefully shook off the people who blocked my way and walked up to Joanna. "You ruined my play. Apologize to me." Joanna rolled her eyes dismissively, but before she could say anything, her troupe members started to help. "Let us apologize to you late. You're a broken opera singer. Who are you?" I sank my gaze and scanned the crowd. "Who am I? This outfit of mine is enough to buy your lives." The crowd was stunned, then burst into laughter. It's true that all opera singers are crazy. I don't think you can even afford to buy a meal. It's still okay. "Which trash can did you rummage through for props?" said Joanna's team member came around behind me and pulled the heirloom crown off my head when I was not ready. I was shocked and tried to grab it, but she was so fast that she had already thrown the heirloom crown into Joanna's hands. I ran towards Joanna, but she threw the heirloom crown to the other team members. Seeing me nervously running after her, a few of them seemed to find fun, laughing and giggling as they flew around, deliberately teasing. I was so pissed off that my brain went blank and I yelled, "That's enough. This is the heirloom crown left behind by the late opera Maestro Mei, with heritage inlay craft and sets of gold pearls. But if anything goes wrong, you can't afford to pay for it." At the moment the heirloom crown had been thrown back into Joanna's hands. She disdainfully lifted the heirloom crown, and after measuring it through the light, she snorted coldly. It's true that you've sung your brains out by singing opera. What's the difference between you guys and the stinking beggars? But it's just a thing to amuse people. Pearls are all white, but you're golden. I think it's painted with plastic beads. Saying that, she gave me a smile, followed by her hand letting go, and the heirloom crown fell straight to the ground. I could hardly breathe as I watched the scene. This was no ordinary heirloom crown. This was my late teacher's most precious treasure. I would never have touched it if I hadn't wanted to add color to my alma mater's graduation party. On weekdays, I only dared to take it out and admire it quietly. And I couldn't even wear it for fear of bumping it. But now, this group of people dared to use it as a tool to tease me, but also dropped it on the ground. I really want to be mad. Legs trembling to go forward, Lo picked up the heirloom crown to see. Gold filigree craftsmanship silk thread has been bent by the fall. Above, the embellishment of the beads and emeralds are scattered all over the ground. I held the heirloom crown tightly in my arms and fought back tears as I crouched down to pick up the fallen pearls. At that moment, a pair of hipster-clad feet appeared in front of me and kicked the pearls far out with a heavy kick. With Joanna taking the lead, her hip-hop crew frolicked again. They had no problem treating Nanyang's golden pearls like toys, kicking them everywhere. My tears fell uncontrollably. It was a priceless treasure. The master craftsmen who made it at the time had all passed away, and the skill used on this heirloom crown could never be restored. I tugged hard on Joanna, who stood provocatively in front of me, and shook her desperately. Make them stop. Stop it now. This is a rare piece. Its value is incalculable. Joanna was not afraid in the slightest. Her gaze towards me was full of contempt. You're not afraid of flashing your tongue when you talk big. You're a poor student with no reputation. Are you worthy of mentioning the value? After saying that, she took the wallet handed over by Patrick and ruthlessly smashed it on my head. Want to blackmail money, right? Here you go. Take the money and go look at your brain. My brain was blank. I just wanted to tear the person in front of me. Just at this moment, the school leader followed closely, rushed too. The playful crowd immediately stopped moving, while my tears had already washed away my makeup. I looked at the teacher who arrived. My voice choked with emotion. Teacher, Before I could say anything, Professor Lee interrupted me with a cold face. Amelia, what gives you the right to turn off Joanna's music? Do you know who she is? I stared in shock. She obviously interrupted my play first and dropped my heirloom crown and broke my pearls. Joanna looked at me smugly. Ouch. Ouch. I'm scared to death. I'm the one who broke it. What can you do to me? I'll pay you all the money. It's more than you've earned in a lifetime of singing. Professor Lee pursed his lips and looked at the heirloom crown in my hand. It's not like it's worth anything. Don't dwell on it here. Everyone is waiting for Joanna to come on stage. I tried to control my tears and stood up straight. Professor Lee, this is a school. Even if my heirloom crown is really something cheap, can you just be so biased and harbor students who do bad things? Seeing that I still dared to talk back, Professor Lee passed a reassuring look to Joanna, who stepped forward and without hesitation stomped on the golden pearls scattered on the ground. I was so shocked and paralyzed, like my bones were suddenly taken out of my body. I desperately tried to push away Joanna's taut legs. The pearls on this heirloom crown had taken an old collector a lifetime to gather, each one a solid gold color. Flawless. Even the diameters were spot on. If you lose one of them, you may never be able to match it again. The blood and sweat of so many predecessors, now passed down to me and destroyed in my hands. What exactly should I do to make up for all of this? I kneeled on the ground in a sorry state. My fingers kept rummaging through the dirt. When I saw that the pearl was fine, only stained, I couldn't control it and held it to my chest, crying loudly. The makeup washed away by my tears was casually wiped away, and under the night, my entire body was in a sorry state. The group froze for a moment as they looked at me ambling around crying. A few moments later, Patrick's voice broke the silence. Amelia, I know you like to sing opera, but other people's evening night is the daughter of the Qiao family, and other people's art was learned abroad. Even if you pretend to be a god, you can't compare to evening night. Don't disgrace yourself here. Get up quickly, take your trash and get the hell home. I was brought back to my senses by his cold voice. My eyes swept over the few people in front of me one by one. You guys ruined my heirloom crown. Joanna crouched down without a care in the world and patted my face with her hand. It's not us. It's me. I ruined it. What can you do to me? I took a deep breath and raised my hand to give her a heavy slap. I want you to spend the rest of your life in prison with lifelong remorse. Joanna let out a gasp as I hit her, and tumbled onto her back. In a flash of lightning, Patrick kicked me hard on the shoulder. That's enough, Amelia. Take your trash and get the hell out of here as far as you can. Along with his words, the students who ran to the onlookers chattered. I've long thought that this Amelia is out of her mind. She dared to beat up the Zhou family's daughter. Her life is over. Patrick's boyfriend is so cool. Immediately after, a few classmates who were on good terms with Patrick blocked in front of me, urging at Joanna. Everyone is waiting anxiously. You guys go ahead and board the stage. This small matter, well, help you deal with it. Joanna brushed one hand over her cheek that was swollen by me. Her voice was full of sinister. Amelia Wright, dare to touch me. You wait for me. I have a big use for today's show. They'll clean you up when I come back from the show. After saying that, she gritted her teeth and gave me a glance, and quickly took her team members and left. I had also calmed down at this moment. The most important thing now is to find all the accessories. And then let the family mobilize manpower to look for surviving master craftsmen to jointly restore the heirloom crown. Thinking of this, I first went to the changing room to change out of the ceremonial robe on my body, and then borrowed the light from the cell phone, and ambled on the ground to slowly look for it. I don't know how much time has passed, but I finally found all the scattered pearls. I breathed a long sigh of relief, and put the ceremonial robe and heirloom crown into the case. Then I walked out of the deafening sound of the music backstage and went to a secluded area to call my dad. He was infuriated by what I had told him, but he and my mom were both out of town at the moment attending a conference, so he had to ask his housekeeper to come and get them first. I hung up the phone, intending to take the line first home. But as soon as I got backstage, I saw Joanna doing cartwheels on the floor in my ceremonial robe. I was so pissed off that I almost fainted. Who gave you permission to touch my stuff? Joanna stood up straight when she saw me come back and looked at me nonchalantly. Listen carefully. I'm Johnson Group's daughter-in-law, and today you ruined my show and slapped me. It's only fair that I ruin your junk too. After saying that, she provocatively raised her eyebrows at me. Let me tell you, brother Patrick is mine. If you dare to seduce my brother Patrick while I'm not around, I want you to regret it for the rest of your life. Patrick stood beside Joanna and looked at me with a cold face. Apologize to Joanna now and we can still forgive you. Otherwise, his latter words were interrupted by a male voice before he could get out. Otherwise, what can you do? Our young lattice collection. Take out your family's wealth, can't even afford to pay for it. With the sound of the voice, everyone's eyes gathered on the person who walked in. And I stood in the crowd and let out a long sigh of relief. Fortunately, the butler came in time. No matter what, this set of treasures won't be destroyed by this group of fools. The butler frowned as he came in, and when he saw my tear-stained mess, he immediately looked at the crowd angrily. Who gave you the guts to even dare to touch the infamily heir's things? Lawyer team, follow me. Immediately fix the damage. Immediately call the police. The person who touched the lattice collection, one is not allowed to be spared. Joanna saw such a tense scene, panicked and hid in the changing room. Want to take off the ceremonial robe? The lawyer team stood at my side respectfully, and made way for the appraiser to check the heirloom crown. The expert cupped the fallen heirloom crown with both hands, and his eyebrows were tightened tightly. The appraiser said, If I am not wrong, I can't see the damage. If I'm not mistaken, This is the handiwork of the late master inlayer An Yue, a priceless gem with a market. And this complete set of gold pearls and this non-hereditary gold filigree craftsmanship. At this point, he angrily stood up and glared at the shrinking hip-hop crew members. How dare you guys be so wasteful? Not only is the manufacturing value of this heirloom crown set well over $100 million, the artistic and cultural value of it is immeasurable. You guys, you all wait for me and sit through the bottom of the jail. Looking at his gritted teeth, the students glanced at each other in panic and whispered, "Seriously, Joanna just said that this is a pile of rags. And this thing is so expensive. This group of people don't look like they're faking it. Their aura is rich at first glance. But Amelia usually doesn't even have a big branded bag. How could she have something this expensive? What's the situation? So serious. I'm a little scared." With a cold face, I quietly looked at Joanna, who changed out of her ceremonial robe and came out of the locker room. "Give the ceremonial robe to the appraiser. Now let's do a proper math. Are you a death sentence or a life sentence?" Joanna was also startled by such a grave atmosphere, and didn't dare to talk back. Instead, she walked over with a beaming face. But when she saw the butler standing beside me, her eyes suddenly lit up. "Uncle Zhang, why you?" Steward Zhang had just been staring at my things with a deadpan stare, and was suddenly shouted at by Joanna. Turning to meet her eyes, "Miss Qiao, what a coincidence." Joanna took a few steps and ran to Steward Zhang's side, furrowing her eyebrows. "Uncle Zhang, I was scared to death just now. Tell them quickly. Is this Amelia pretending to be a ghost to scare people?" Steward Zhang sniffed and pondered slightly. But Joanna shook Steward Zhang's sleeve relentlessly. "Say something, Uncle Zhang." My friends were scared. I rolled my eyes disdainfully, anger hidden in my voice. The appraiser has already quoted the value of the heirloom crown. "Joanna, you can't escape." Never thought that just after my words. Steward Zhang looked at Joanna and opened his mouth. "Misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Let Ms. Qiao be shocked." Then he looked at me with a cold face. "All right, this mess. Amelia, please don't continue to harass Ms. Qiao." After saying that, he actually pulled up the appraiser with red eyes. Let's go back." My whole body was dumbfounded. "Steward Zhang, are you crazy? Call the police immediately." Steward Zhang touched his nose somewhat awkwardly and exchanged glances with Joanna again. "Stop it, Amelia. You're waving around with a set of fakes. Ms. Qiao already considered it a high hand if she didn't sue you. Just take your stuff and go. Don't blame us for being rude if you keep pestering us." I stepped forward and stopped at the doorway, glaring at Steward Zhang with a death glare. "If you disobey my order today and walk away with the people, you know the consequences." Steward Zhang smiled as a trace of panic flashed across his face, but still gritted his teeth and continued to speak. "You wanted to use fake goods to cheat money at Ms. Qiao's place. The trick has already been dismantled. So don't make the same mistake again." After saying that, Steward Zhang reached out and flicked me aside, leading the crowd away. I was a little dazed by the onslaught of events. But Joanna and her hip-hop crew didn't give me a chance to think. They gathered around, each with a sneer on their faces. "Ay shucks, making such a big scene. Turns out they paid actors to scare us. Luckily late night you have a wide range of connections. Otherwise we would have almost been tricked by her. The appearance fees of these actors should be very expensive. Right. The money I just compensated you for is enough. Not enough, I'll reward you some more." Saying that, they actually flipped out their change one after another and smashed it over my head. My whole body was still in a state of shock, but I knew that now there was no one to back me up, and it wasn't sensible to face such a group of crazy people alone. What I should be doing now is looking for a geneticist to restore the drunken concubines line. Also, investigate what secrets Steward Zhang has. After thinking it over, I stood up, picked up the heirloom crown ceremonial robe, and dialed the police in the face of all the taunts. Seeing that I still chose to call the police, Joanna frowned unhappily. Brother Patrick, this woman really isn't finished. I managed to find a media shoot to help me increase my exposure, and it was all spoiled by her. Patrick also sighed. Amelia, I know you're upset about the fact that I dumped you, but you're an ordinary girl. There's no way I'm marrying you. I'm really just having fun with you. I tossed and turned all night. I was already mentally and physically exhausted, and I didn't have the energy to bother with them much. When the police finish recording the scene, they'll naturally leave. We'll settle this score later. The police quickly came out, filming the scene for evidence. Joanna beamed her little mouth and stretched her legs. Please hurry up. I still have to go for a midnight snack with Brother Patrick. I sneered at Joanna. You can go for a late-night snack. But before you go, do you dare to say again that heirloom crown was smashed by you? And you bear all the consequences. Joanna pursed her lips and sked. I admit, it's me. I can afford to pay for this crap of yours even if it's really worth something. After saying that, she disdainfully got up, pulled Patrick up and left. The policeman reached out to stop, but I stopped him. It's good that you dare to admit it. Let you be smug for 2 days first. I have more important things to do. After talking to Mom and Dad, they decided to come back overnight. I first mobilized ANS connections to look for artists who could fix heirloom crown, and then I started to look for trusted people to investigate Steward Zhang, who was Joanna's dad's chauffeur. No wonder he's so protective of this former mess. Joe. Unfortunately, he forgot that I, Amelia, am his real employer. When I rushed back to the villa, Steward Zhang was sitting comfortably on the sofa smoking. Seeing me return, his expression was a bit flustered, but he still quickly regained his composure. Miss N, you're back. Just now I had no choice. Don't take it to heart. I raised my eyebrows and pointed towards the door. You're fired. Now get out. Steward Zhang was a bit anxious. I was hired by General Manager An Yue. A maid. Don't have the right to fire me yet. I looked at him and snorted. As a housekeeper of the An family, you helped others to commit perjury and wantonly slandered your employer. Not only will I fire you, I will also publicize your deeds so that everyone will know that it is better to care for you as a butler than a dog. Steward Zhang slowed down at that. His tone took on a pleading tone. You also know the situation at that time. Joanna is a small child. Even if she broke your things, wouldn't you just fix it? Your An family is so rich. Can't you just let them be? I'm really going to be pissed off and laugh. Why should I be bullied by people with no money if I'm rich? Without waiting for me to open my mouth, my mom and dad pushed the door and Steward Zhang immediately changed into a fawning expression and evilly accused me of bullying my classmates. In response, my mom slapped him hard. You're the one who helped outsiders bully our daughter. Get lost. Steward Zhang covered his face. His eyes widened in shock, and stammered as he tried to explain. I looked at his tense appearance and laughed coldly. My parents aren't stupid. You don't think that they would turn towards you, an outsider, do you, Steward Zhang? You didn't have this look on your face when you called me a liar in front of the crowd. Steward Zhang wanted to argue again, but Mom and Dad didn't have the heart to listen to his nonsense, and directly let the security guards kick the man out. Just then the company came to the news that they had found the heir to the art that could restore the heirloom crown. But he is old. Now people in foreign countries inconvenient to return to China. I can only personally with the line to go abroad to repair. I immediately took the heirloom crown and traveled across the ocean by myself. The restoration process went smoothly. Although the heirloom crown had been dropped several times, it took only 3 months for the master to make it look brand new. Meanwhile, the ceremonial robe, which had been left in China awaiting restoration, was also restored to its original condition after a few weeks. A big stone in my heart finally fell to the ground. Next, It was time to meet Joanna, the street dance champion. After some investigation, I realized that on the day of the graduation party, all kinds of media had already squatted under the stage. As long as Joanna on stage, everyone will start shooting, followed by hype, increase exposure. When the time is ripe, Joanna can directly into the entertainment industry. Thinking like this, no wonder Joanna was in such a hurry to get me off the stage. After all, street dance, how can it compare to China's national pastime? She was cynical that I used to be with Patrick, and was afraid that her stage, I would steal the limelight. At that time, despite the slip-up, Joanna had gained quite a bit of support after the hard-hitting support of the Zhou family. I looked at Joanna, who was standing in front of the camera for an interview, and slightly curved the corner of my mouth. Smile. Soon, you'll never be able to smile. Joanna, in order to increase her exposure, was recently in a Johnson-funded youth campus variety show. I signed up for it as well. When she saw me backstage, Joanna didn't recognize me at all. Because I had already put on my makeup, I was a different person than I usually am. But even if she didn't recognize me, Joanna wouldn't miss any chance to taunt the opera artist. She reached out and greeted her hip-hop crew teammates. Come and see, isn't this the same Amelia as the one we bullied last time? You don't say. It's really the same. Didn't Amelia say that outfit was worth a few $100 million? So it looks like it's all over the streets. Laughing to death. She dares to say that you dare to believe. It's just a stinky opera singer. Saying that, Joanna pushed me disdainfully. Hey, you honestly, what you're wearing, how much is it worth? I slowly turned back and looked at Joanna. It's worth your life. Joanna's face instantly stiffened. What do you mean? Are you a human or a ghost? Who sent you? I flashed a smile at Joanna. It's been a long time. Joanna. Joanna shot me a shocked look. You're Amelia. How dare you show up? Brother Patrick said he already taught you a lesson and would never let you bother me again. What are you doing here? I snorted coldly. Really? It seems that your Patrick brother is really perfunctory to you. Just by him. He can't touch me, Amelia. Joanna's pretty face turned red. Get out of here. You're not welcome here. At this time, the director attentively held a stack of fruit plates. Small steps ran over. Joanna reached out to pick up, but the fruit plate was the director handed over to my hands. N. You first moisturize your throat. Our conditions here are poor service. I hope that you have more patience. I nodded casually. Why don't you start? The guide immediately ran away with small steps as if she had received an imperial decree. All departments prepare. MS. And has given the word. Start immediately. Joanna's eyes were about to fall out of her head as she angrily yelled at the director. Come back here. I didn't say start. You guys shoot the shit. The director sniffed and turned back. His face as cold as ice. I only listened to MS. ANS arrangement. You one who stuffed money in. What qualification do you have to tell me what to do? Joanna looked at the director incredulously. Look carefully. My dad invested $5 million. The director looked at her furious appearance. Cold snort. Directly arrange manpower to start live broadcast, Joanna, in order to be famous. Specially grabbed the first on stage quota. At this moment, she just had thousands of anger in her heart, but she could only put it away and obediently waited for the start. Only her teammates, all of them were whispering. The director listens to Amelia so much. Amelia won't really have a backstage, right? It's hard to say. Maybe she went as a mistress for someone in order to go out and make shady deals. You know. Several people were talking with raised eyebrows while secretly exchanging colors. And Joanna stood between the crowd, her face dark and scary. She took advantage of the last chance she had before taking the stage to look at me viciously. Amelia, I don't care what tactics you've used. By the time I'm done with my performance, you're dead. I looked at Joanna with the same smirking expression. You can't wait until the show is over. Joanna didn't get the meaning of my words before the music started. She couldn't be bothered to argue with me, and led her team members up to the stage on their heels. Several of them all landed firmly on the ground, instantly earning a standing ovation. I've heard of Joanna for a long time. She's won awards abroad. Her reputation is not small. She's so powerful even before she graduated. And she's also the daughter of the Qiao family. Her future is immeasurable. The one in the center is Joanna, right? She's good-looking too. I looked at the confident smiles on their faces and waved my hand at the director. Instantly, the lights went out and the music was interrupted. A few moments later, the soundtrack to The Drunken Concubine began to play, and I stomped onto the stage under a beam of light and stood in front of everyone. The perfect lighting and my full head of jewels dazzled everyone's eyes. But soon, someone noticed something was wrong. Wasn't the first program Joanna's street dance? What's going on here? Crosstalk. Joanna hasn't danced yet. Who is this? Why does he love to steal the limelight so much? Opera singer. Who still watches opera these days? I'm really convinced. Before their words fell, some knowledgeable audience members shouted out, "This is Maestro Miceline. Oh my god. I never thought I would see this The Drunken Concubine outfit in my lifetime. This costume. It's too similar. Is this a descendant of the May School? Why have I never heard of it? People indeed have never heard of. But I have heard of this heirloom crown, said to be worth a lot of money." A murmur of voices. Joanna. A few people's faces gradually pale. I don't care about the Joanna people who froze in place, directly following the music while dancing and singing. The sea island ice will first turning. This paragraph. I have been practicing since childhood, sung countless times. With the dance of the water sleeve and the opening and closing of the folding fan, the knitted brows and smile are perfect. Soon, the time of one fold of the opera passed. The offstage understanding of the audience's discussion is getting louder and louder. How come this noble consort didn't have a palace maid? What are you talking about? Isn't it matched with a few courtesans in strange costumes? Waiting at the back, Joanna, who had been standing behind her unable to step down, was so enraged that her entire body shivered. She defiantly pointed at me and cursed, "Amelia, who XX gave you the right to steal my performance time?" I revealed a provocative smile. "The program you tried so hard to get into is just a matter of my casual words. So I can grab it if I want to. I don't need others to give me the right." Joanna had been preparing for street dance for 3 months, but in the end, she couldn't even perform on the stage. Not to mention her, even the few members of the team who ate dry rice noticed something strange. "Joanna, what's wrong with you? Didn't you say that following you would make us famous? Aren't you Joanna, heiress of the Johnson family? Why isn't Amelia afraid of you at all? And the director isn't afraid of you either. Say something. We've been following you for so long. You have to give us an explanation." Joanna's brain seemed to have not yet awakened from the blow, precisely a belly full of anger with no place to take it out. Seeing that the team members who were usually respectful to her dared to directly chastise her, she didn't even think twice before raising her hand and slapping the girl who was leading the group. That girl was the one who stole my heirloom crown that day, and she was not one to take offense. So after she was hit, she immediately hit back hard. I sat in front of the mirror, removing my makeup while watching them dogfighting in comfort. Several people fought for half a day before they finally remembered me as the instigator. Joanna pushed away the people around her and angrily walked towards me. "Amelia, what the hell did you use?" I slightly raised my eyes to admire her exasperated expression. "You little maid. How dare you be so bold as to speak to your noble consort in such a tone?" Hearing my secret sarcasm about the scene on the stage just now, Joanna's lungs exploded with anger. She lunged forward to try to hit me, and was immediately pressed to the ground by the security guards. "Joanna, The heir of our family is not something you can touch. Looking at her desperately struggling appearance, I slowly squatted down and gently patted her reddened face with my hand. Joanna, when you destroyed my collection, you should have thought that there would be such a day. Joanna kept struggling, living like a fish out of water. No way. I don't believe it. Brother Patrick said it. You're just a normal person. I raised my eyebrows and slapped Joanna hard. In your mind, do ordinary people deserve to be humiliated and bullied by you like that? Joanna defiantly continued to shout. You ordinary people. You were born to be enslaved and trampled on by us rich people. I'm going to bully whoever I see wrong. I quietly listened to her shouting, raised my hand and slapped again. That's a coincidence. Joanna, you're nothing more than an ordinary person in my eyes. This slap is for so ordinary people. Joanna's cheeks swelled up high, her eyes filled with hatred. You wait for me. I will definitely destroy you. Joanna's so-called way of destroying me was by posting long essays on the internet. One of the general meanings was that I, Amelia, was uneducated, bullied my schoolmates, and relied on my own family background to intentionally ruin my schoolmates' performances and bully them in the background. For a while, I was the talk of the internet. I've seen her the drunken concubine clip. She's good at everything, but I didn't realize she's so vicious behind the scenes. Now masters don't look at character anymore. It really discredits traditional art. Vomit. This kind of vicious person is Amelia, heir to the Winston fortune. In the future I want to boycott this house. I was a bit speechless as I looked at the contents. Since I already know that I am the only heir of An, I still don't come to kowtow and beg for forgiveness. But instead, I make rumors and slander on the internet. Joanna, having a rival like you, count me as a disgrace. I quickly found out the video from the original school festival, released the HD restored version, and attached a message under the video. I, Amelia, never bully people, unless she is Joanna. Soon enough, someone watched the video from beginning to end and became a master summarizer, telling the whole story. Just overnight, the wind on the internet changed. Joanna seems like that cerebral palsy, to be such a bully. I'm going to be furious. May I ask Amelia, has a case not been filed yet for her willfully damaging another person's property? What are you waiting for if you don't block her for doing something so hurtful to others in order to enter the entertainment industry? I looked at the netizens' comments with a smile and replied in passing. A case has been filed for damage. I really don't know if An chooses to keep this daughter or declare bankruptcy on the spot. Getting my reply, the netizens' excitement grew higher and higher. Man. Amelia's sister replied to me. Sister is so valiant. Should be a tooth for a tooth, an eye for an eye. Can't let Joanna, this kind of evil woman, continue to rampage. I just put down my cell phone. And suddenly there was a sharp tap on the door. Oh, it turned out to be that ex-boyfriend of mine, Patrick, who was all smiles when he saw me. Amelia, I didn't know your identity before, so I made some small mistakes. Now I know. You are the heir of the An family. It was all my abruptness in the past. I don't know if you can be generous and let Joanna go. I looked at his fawning face and raised my eyebrows. What? Did Joanna have a broken leg that she won't come by herself? Patrick seems to recall something. Cold sweat swished down. Miss An Yue anticipate like God. Indeed, legs broken. This is somewhat out of my expectations, but did not wait for me to open my mouth to ask. Joanna's parents also came to the door. See, I am standing at the door. There also a fawning face quickly ran over. Miss An, that rebellious girl committed an unforgivable sin. Has been we severely beaten. Now still in the hospital lying it. Please, you have a large amount of adults. Forgive her this time it. I looked at the several people who were begging bitterly and couldn't help but recall the night heirloom crown was destroyed. At that time, I was already in a sorry state. So why couldn't anyone spare me? Would they still think they were wrong if I was really just an ordinary person? No, they wouldn't. They would just realize that they were finished. Thinking of this, I directly shouted to the security guard to send off the guests. Your family Joanna's matter. Just go by the legal judgment. Not necessarily honored with the death penalty, but life imprisonment. She will never escape. Instantly. Joanna's mom's tears came down. But Papa Joe was obviously a bit more rational. He stood at the bottom of the steps and spoke dolefully. Then the grudge between your family and Joanna, the rebellious daughter. Can you, please don't involve us, the Johnson group. I looked at Joe's father with a smirk. Your good daughter bullied me in the first place on the basis of your name. Don't you think so? Upon hearing this, Father and Mother Qiao suddenly went limp in front of my house as if their bones had been drained away. I was going to leave. Just walked 2 steps, suddenly thought of another thing. Then turned back to Patrick. Almost forgot about you. Don't be too busy to assist your in-laws. Your house. I won't let go. Patrick's face turned green with anger. Amelia. Don't be too bossy. I hooked my lips. I call this an eye for an eye. After saying that, I turned around and left under their hateful gazes. Shortly after, Joanna was happy to receive a life sentence. The next month, Johnson Group and Patrick Industries declared bankruptcy at the same time. No one thought I was cruel, but everyone praised me for my actions. I soon took over the family company, and while managing the company, I started a variety show on traditional music. Because of the influence of the former heat, many people would follow a few episodes even if they weren't interested, and it didn't take long for them to fall in love with the traditional Chinese repertoire. In this regard, they said it was the awakening of the genes left by the old ancestors. I take advantage of the situation to promote traditional culture, not only opera, but also in the variety of non-heritage culture, Chinese medicine culture and other kinds of interesting columns. I think that in the future, there will never be another incident where an artist is interrupted by someone else just as soon as he or she makes an appearance.